Hi there, I'm Lace with Chaos Pop, and this is how you're going to make it a Labubu adjacent low guy plushie keychain. Start by getting my free pattern on chaospop.net, and you're going to cut it out. Simple as that. And look at that, that's perfect. After you do that, you want to get a piece of scrap fabric. I'm choosing denim this is for the keychain holder, the little loop that the keychain holder goes in. And then you're going to pick out your fur fabric. You don't need much of it, so it's not going to be too expensive at whatever store you're going to. Once you have that, we are going to put right sides together, and we're going to place our pattern piece and just cut out a little square going around it. Perfect. And now we're going to get our pins, and we're going to pin the pattern. Once you do that, we're going to start cutting our pattern out. I recommend cutting this out with shears just because a rotary cutter can't get all the weird angles and corners of this guy. And now we have our pattern pieces. So I'm going to go in with some Velcro and cut out some face pieces, just so that I can make the facial pieces later, the eyes and stuff. I don't have to do that in one go. So yeah, I'm making a little face with the Velcro. And we're gonna sew that down first. There's a little spot on the back, Velcro spot for wings, if I want to put wings on it. Alright, so we're pinning those pieces down before we sew. And then after that's all done, we're gonna bring them over to the sewing machine. That was bad mouth trumpet. And yeah, we're sewing them on with black thread, so that it won't be seen in the Velcro. And yeah, so this pattern is available on my website, chaospop.net, for free. This tutorial is out there for free, so please hit a like and a subscribe and whatever. That would help me out. We are ironing our loops for the keychain holder, so I just ironed it down, and then just be very careful of the iron in your hand when you're doing this. So yeah, you're gonna fold it over one way, fold it over the other way, and then fold both of those sides together so it's all kind of nice to look at. And again, be careful when you're ironing so close to your fingers. After I filmed this video, I learned to use a long pair of tweezers to iron this down. Yeah, so that looks nice. We're gonna go ahead and sew on both sides. So you're gonna, I'm using a walking foot for all of this fabric, just so you know. And I have my little seam guide right there, so that helps the line become straight. And we're gonna set our machine to the needle position all the way over to the right. We're gonna go ahead and sew that down on one side, and then we're gonna flip it over, and the needle position is gonna stay the same. And we're gonna sew it again on the other side, so that it has two lines down the... Now you can go ahead and trim the excess off. You really don't need this thing that long. I mean, 2 inches kind of max. 2 inches in length kind of max. This is a very long one. And so now we're gonna start clipping our pattern pieces together, right sides together. And we're gonna go ahead and start sewing, and remember to leave just a little bit of space so that you can flip the little guy inside out at the end and stuff it. But when we go around, we're going to stop at the top. And we're going to put our loop in. Our little keychain holder loop. And we're going to sew that in. Go slow with that because that's going to be a little bit thicker. You don't want to break a needle. Depending on the thickness of the fabric that you chose for the loop, you might want to use the hand wheel to sew that in just because you want to go slow and not break your needle. But yeah, we're creating kind of just like this little triangle right there, so that it's properly sewn in and it won't come off. Remember to cut your threads, but it doesn't really matter because it's on the inside anyway. But we're going to cut that little extra piece of loop off on the inside. And yeah, as you can see, we got that little triangle. And our little guy is turning out great. Now we're going to flip him inside out. And this is where the magic is, because you can see all that you've done so far. We're also going to, at the corners, at the ears and stuff, we're going to trim that just right to the seam without cutting the seam, just so that the ear comes out pointy. You don't really have to do this. You can have rounded ears on your little guy, that's fine. But just be careful not to cut this actual seam, or you're going to have a hole in your ear. We're going to move on to stuffing the guy. And you can use polyfill, or you can actually use the scraps. Just cut them up really good and put them in there. So my technique, I guess, would be to stuff the feet first and then move my way up. And look at that, it came out really good. Now we're gonna hand sew this part with an invisible stitch. I'm using an embroidery needle and embroidery thread, just because it's stronger and my little guy to last. But if you use a regular needle and regular thread, just make sure to double the thread, make it stronger. So we're going to go in there and we're going to make a starter stitch. So pull that through once, have a little bit of the thread hanging off the other side, pull that through again. And then we're going to go back through and put the loop around the needle. I'll show you right here. Make sure that loop goes around the needle. And this thread won't show because of the stitch that we're doing. We're going to do that one more time. And we're going to pull that through, and that is tight. So now we've started on this side. So we are going to go into the other side and do a little stitch there, just a weave stitch, pull that through, and then as you can see, it will become invisible. Ooh, magic. And then we're going to do that again throughout the whole thing. So then on that side, we're going to just do a little weave stitch, and we are going to keep doing that same stitch all the way through. And each time pull the thread taut. I see some of these videos that are like satisfying videos that they do this invisible stitch, and then at the end of their stitching they pull it taut so that it all comes together at the same time. Don't do that. Sometimes thread twists in a weird way, and it makes it so that it's very hard to do that. We're going to make 2 starter stitches at the end like we did in the beginning to tie it off. And yeah, this is the little guy. And if you follow this video along and use the free pattern, and you'll make one yourself. Enjoy.